Max to maybe present some thoughts and some possibilities around open schooling. After which maybe we could just have an open Q&A, and I'd be very happy to share with you our experiences of how NIOS is working. What are some of the potential in NIOS that we are seeing, and how individuals are utilizing it. And I'll also talk to you about some of the challenges that still exist with the open schooling, and what can we do to address some of these challenges. So please do make a note of the question, that if there's something that strikes you कि बात करते वक्त अगर कोई भी question आपको you feel कि ये important है, please आप उसको लिख के रख लीजिए, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some time to discuss this. Let me I want to sort of share a short presentation with you around open schooling, and then we'll sort of take it from there. So at any point of time, any questions, please just note it down and keep it, and we'll come back to that. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So I want to just start off with a slightly broader picture to provide us a context of where NIOS has its real promise and potential, right? And what are the spaces in which we could look at NIOS. So just give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that I've got let me just start here so that I can also show you a little bit about some data. Just give me 1 second. So we all know this, and this is a demographics that we are quite familiar with. We've been talking about India's youth demographics. We know that the population between 15 and 25 years of age in India is about half our population, so about 650 million individuals fall in this age group. But the other statistics that we don't often talk about is what is referred to as NEET, right? Not in education, employment, or training in this age group, which is the 650 million. And that's close to 200 million who are not in education, not in employment, or not in training, or declared not in education, employment, or training. And a significant percentage of the other, so from 650, if you remove 200 million, so that's about 450, a majority of them actually work in what we call the informal work sector, right? Or the more vulnerable employment sectors. If you look at the highest level of education, and Avinash started with that a little bit, it's across India. If we look at the persons, or the distribution of persons aged 15 and above, in terms of their highest level of education that they have completed secondary sort of successfully, you will see that as you go higher in the school system, you have lesser and lesser people being able to complete it. Currently, amongst our total population, 16% have managed to complete secondary schooling. And as we go into higher secondary, you can see it's about 12%, graduation is 11%, and so on. So for a very long time, our pyramid of sort of schooling, we've been constantly hovering in about, for every 10, about 1 to 2 managing to successfully complete class 12, right? So this percentage has not changed very much over quite some time. We also have a challenge overall when we look at youth unemployment rates. You can see that it's gone up significantly from 2007 onwards, and this is COVID data, right? Because we still don't have sufficient data on what has happened in terms of migration, employment, out of school dropout with young people in the age group of 15 to 25 post-COVID. But even even if we ignore the post-COVID data, 2018, 2019 data suggests that 23% of young people are actually sort of unemployed completely, and we rank amongst set of countries in terms of not in employment, education, or training. 30% of the population is where we are in India right now, and we sort of rate very, very poorly on this across different countries. So we do have a problem with this, and this problem is quite acute as we move up the education sort of progression, right, from primary to upper primary to middle and then to secondary schooling. The cliff is quite sharp, and a significant percentage of our young population is in no person's land, right? So they really are in quite difficult situations and circumstances. I've only pulled out the out of school dropout rate for secondary and above, because again, this data is not very, very clear. The NSSO 2017-18 was suggesting something like 34%, but the UNESCO data from ground has, even in 2016-17, sort of put our out of school and dropout data for secondary at close to 50%. Data that's coming now from preliminary studies suggests that out of school after COVID would be in excess of 60%. So we're looking at something around 63-64% of secondary age students dropping out of school, and there is a fear that these will be permanently out of school, right? That no amount of bringing them back would be able to, no amount of efforts to bring them back would be successful. And this is quite disturbing, I think, for all of us who work in youth, with young people in education, skilling, and so on. There are challenges, of course. We also know that the availability of schools, particularly in rural India, I've just taken rural India, urban is not dramatically different, although it does go higher. But this is 2015-2016 ASA data, which shows us that the drop between when somebody is in primary school and sort of moves up to secondary is very steep. So obviously, access to formal school institutions is a real challenge for a lot of people in semi-urban, rural, and even in urban India. But the significance of the drop, I think, many of us, when we look at it for the first time, we get quite shocked by it, that the availability of schools is so poor when it comes to secondary education that for a significant percentage of the population, there is no choice. There is no access to secondary or higher secondary schooling. And that creates a lot of problem when it comes to retaining kids in, or retaining young people in school after grade 8 or after they turn 14. There's been a number of studies that have been done with regard to why there are dropouts in secondary, and this is not new. I mean, all of us are quite familiar with it. Just broadly, we can divide it into school, household, and sociocultural, as well as individual reasons. Poor access to secondary school is a very, very significant reason for dropout. Apart from, of course, what we've always recognized in schooling, there is discrimination, there's poor comprehension, learning levels, individuals struggle with it. There's an excessive, overwhelming curriculum. And there's a tremendous amount of struggle and dropout with math and science when it comes to after class 8. And that's often one of the most significant curricular reasons for dropping out of school is this very overwhelming curriculum. We do, of course, have a lot of household and socio-cultural factors, including financial constraints, need to work, socio-cultural norms against schooling, unable to bear the cost of private education, secondary school, or tutoring support, which invariably a majority of students in secondary and senior secondary do participate in, which is outside of school coaching, tutoring, and support. And of course, individual factors. There is, stigma around failing in school. That stigma gets institutionalized. There's lack of advice and guidance on education. There's failure in one or two subjects, and you get disheartened and you don't know what to do. And of course, there are other, personal factors, and other interests and choices that individuals make. And the studies have come from where the highest dropout rate is at grade 9. So we've looked at what is happening at grade 9, because grade 9 is a particularly sharp cliff. And these are some of the reasons why individuals do drop out at secondary level, right? There is tremendous impact of this, and there's some really interesting ground level studies that are coming up. At Chabi, we did a study on impact of dropout across significant parts of Karnataka, parts of Maharashtra, parts of Tamil Nadu, and parts of Telangana. And what we've studied pretty much correlates other research on impact of this on individuals, and I think more broadly on society. Self-identity is a huge issue. The status of being a school dropout, not completing schooling, is seen as their identity in life, which is not a very empowering identity. A tremendous amount of confusion and anxiety about what to do. They move into vulnerable employment and vulnerable life choices very quickly. A lot of young boys sort of get into employment very quickly. They start earning money, and then they just struggle with stabilizing their life and with sort of going back to learning. If you don't complete class 10, we all know that the barriers to higher education and skilling and more formal employment is extremely high. And most of them see this as an impossible dream. There's a lot of loneliness associated with it. In our youth study, we've had young people say that they did not even want to go into any form of formal school mechanisms because they would be the oldest, or they would have people mock them and laugh at them and so on. And of course, there are other issues like early marriage and childcare, and extremely difficult to get out of poverty traps, particularly intergenerational poverty. So we do know this to be significant in terms of its impact. Some of the other data that we received from our learner labs about what they struggle with, even when they are open to completing their class 10 and class 12, it was quite, for us, quite an eye-opener, because we had assumed that something like curriculum and payment would be much higher. But the number one anxiety-causing factor was lack of time to study. Most of our learners in our learner labs, and when we were talking to them, most of them said that it would be impossible for them to go and study every day the way that a lot of institutions expect young people to study, right? 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day was impossible for them. Of course, the others are very familiar. I mean, there is a feeling of loneliness, anxiety. Curriculum overload is a huge challenge. They see the books and they get really worried. They find concepts confusing. There's a general lack of confidence that they would be able to pass the exam, and confusions around how to write the exam. And of course, payment of tuition fees, some of them felt was quite unaffordable if they went into schools or formal tutoring. So a lot of this data correlates with some of the data that we've, broadly you will see data on out of school young adolescents. Similar data comes out when you look at young people who have been in sort of institutions. And so in care institutions, and when they leave the care institutions, some of their findings are very similar to this, right? So there is a pattern of vulnerability amongst youth in this very significant demographics. So just giving this to you as a background, because if you put all of those things together, an inability to go back into formal schooling because life has moved on and I have other, they have other responsibilities. There is a sense of, lack of confidence about how to do the exam, and overwhelming fear for certain kinds of subjects, stigma associated with failure, etc. The NIOS seems fairly promising. In fact, I would say more than fairly promising. And just sharing with you some of the features of NIOS, and then I'll show you a place where you can get a lot of FAQs answered. So let's have a look at open schooling ka promise or potential kya hai. So in spite of that extraordinarily large number of out of school young people, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी open schooling NIOS है. और अब तक की NIOS डेटा से exactly accurate numbers निकालना is quite difficult, क्योंकि we don't get updated data, we get cumulative data, and but we do know कि 45 lakh के ऊपर बच्चे they have completed enrolled in NIOS. काफी साल हो गए इसको establish करते हुए. 1989 में NIOS was set up. And it's been set up as an autonomous institute under the Ministry of MHRD. And if you look at it, NIOS is also the governing body that hands out other accreditations, right? So whether it's teacher diploma, DED programs, even certifying some of the CBSE programs, etc., all happens through NIOS. तो इंडिया में हमारे पास जैसे कहते हैं कि तीन नेशनल करिकुलम है, CBSE, NIOS और ICSE, इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर स्कूल एजुकेशन. और ये जो तीन करिकुलम है ये नेशनल करिकुलम बोला जाता है इन तीनों को. अनलाइक स्टेट करिकुलम्स जैसे कि कर्नाटका स्टेट SSLC हो या उत्तर प्रदेश या झारखंड या व्हाटएवर स्टेट हो, उनको हम स्टेट करिकुलम बोले जाते हैं. सो बिकॉज NIOS इज अ nationally recognized school leaving certificate, it comes directly under the Ministry of Human Resources and Development. तो NIOS का जो सर्टिफिकेट्स जो ऑफर करते हैं वो तीन चार तरीके के सर्टिफिकेट्स ऑफर करते हैं. The first one is what you call open basic, OBE, open basic education, जहां पे तीन तरह के सर्टिफिकेट्स ऑफर किया जाता है. एक तो है इक्विवेलेंट क्लास 1 टू क्लास 3, दूसरा है 4 and 5 जो हम पढ़ते हैं अर्ली एलिमेंट्री और फिर प्राइमरी, और फिर इक्विवेलेंट टू क्लास 6 to 8 जो हम अपर एलिमेंट्री बोलते हैं. उसके बाद NIOS doesn't offer a class 9, but it directly offers secondary school जो हम class 10 बोलते हैं, secondary schooling, और senior secondary schooling जिसको class 12, we call it the secondary school certificate. इसके अलावा NIOS also offers a whole host of vocational courses. ये standalone vocational courses हो सकते हैं, और they also offer vocational courses as part of class 10 and class 12. तो जो हम CBSE में अभी आप देख रहे हैं कि vocational courses का introduction हो रहा है, ये 20 साल 15 साल से पहले NIOS में इनको already introduce कर गया है. तो you can see कि कोई भी बच्चा प्राइमरी से लेके सीनियर सेकेंडरी तक NIOS में कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. इसमें ब्रांचेस भी अवेलेबल है कि आप OBEC करने के बाद आप वोकेशनल जा सकते हैं, आप क्लास 10 कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ एकेडमिक और वोकेशनल कर सकते हैं, और 10th कंप्लीशन के बाद आप सीनियर सेकेंडरी सर्टिफिकेट कर सकते हैं. एंड ऑल ऑफ दिस इज अवेलेबल, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ऑनलाइन, मतलब एनरोलमेंट भी ऑनलाइन और मटेरियल्स भी जो आपको है वो ऑनलाइन NIOS से मिल जाते हैं. तो इसका पोटेंशियल एक और है कि NIOS के लिए कोई एज लिमिट नहीं है एनरोलमेंट के लिए. सिर्फ ये रिक्वायरमेंट है कि आपका मिनिमम एज जो है सेकेंडरी स्कूल अप्लाई करने के लिए 14 साल से ऊपर होना चाहिए. And so anybody less than 14 cannot join secondary NIOS, but you can obviously join open basic education until class 8. और NIOS का जो एज का जो प्रूफ है वो सिंपल आधार इज इनफ टू सॉर्ट ऑफ शो कि आपका एज इज अबव 14. NIOS का एक और है कि जो लैंग्वेज या मीडियम जो आप चूज करना चाहते हो वो आपके जो लैंग्वेज प्रेफरेंस है उसके हिसाब से हो सकता है. A little later, I'll show you the set of languages that are available, but there is a substantial number of languages in which you can read the content, enroll in that particular medium, and write the examination in that language. So it's almost, it covers a significant part of Indian languages that we use. और NIOS का enrollment जो है वो और completely online है, कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. NIOS वेबसाइट आप जा सकते हैं, मैं दिखाऊंगी आपको. It's a simple NIOS. I mean the website is a little confusing, but enrollment के लिए कहीं और नहीं जाना है. You can just do it directly on the portal. और जो हमारे कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के, ये हर स्टेट में कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर का नाम अलग होता है, बट दिस इज जस्ट सिटीजन सर्विसेज. तो हर स्टेट में कॉमन सर्विसेज सेंटर है. कहीं भी कोई भी कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर जाके NIOS के लिए एनरोल कर सकते हैं. एंड CSC जो कॉमन सर्विसेज सेंटर है वो हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में अवेलेबल है. सो देयर आर 2 ways in which one can enroll for NIOS. NIOS की एक और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है कि अनलाइक जो हमारे काफी SSLC है या CBSE ICSE बोर्ड में जहाँ पे कंपल्सरी 9 या 10 सब्जेक्ट्स क्लियर करना ही है बच्चों को, NIOS में फॉर सेकेंडरी, आई एम गोइंग टू फोकस ऑन सेकेंडरी राइट नाउ बिकॉज that's what this conversation is about. But secondary में आपको सिर्फ 5 सब्जेक्ट सेलेक्ट करने होंगे और ये 5 सब्जेक्ट कोई भी सब्जेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं. The only compulsory subject is one language. जो तो आप इंग्लिश, हिंदी, कन्नड़, मराठी, पंजाबी, गुजराती, उड़िया, बंगाली, कोई भी एक लैंग्वेज आप ले सकते हैं. आप मैक्सिमम 2 लैंग्वेजेस ले सकते हैं. बाकी के जो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं उसमें कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है. आप फॉर एग्जांपल आप पेंटिंग ले सकते हो या कंप्यूटर्स या डेटा एंट्री ले सकते हो, होम साइंस, साइंस, सोशल स्टडीज, मैथ्स, इकोनॉमिक्स, बिजनेस स्टडीज, कुछ भी. उसमें जरूरत नहीं है कि आपको एक कॉम्बिनेशन में ही लेना है. यू कैन टेक एनी सब्जेक्ट्स दैट यू वांट और कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है. जब रजिस्टर करते हैं किसी स्टूडेंट, रजिस्ट्रेशन के बाद स्टूडेंट को 5 साल की अलाउंस है ये 5 सब्जेक्ट्स पास करने के लिए. तो उनका रजिस्ट्रेशन एक बार अगर रजिस्टर कर लिए, दैट रजिस्ट्रेशन इज वैलिड फॉर 5 years and they have to complete their 5 exams in these 5 years. और फॉर्मली NIOS की एग्जामिनेशन साल में 2 बार रखे जाते हैं. एक अप्रैल में, मार्च अप्रैल में. लास्ट ईयर कोविड की वजह से वो बहुत इधर उधर हो गया, लेकिन द होप इज कि अभी अप्रैल में इट विल स्टार्ट रेगुलराइजिंग. तो अप्रैल में एक एग्जाम रखते हैं जहां पे सारे डेट्स दिए जाते हैं, और दूसरी बारी रखते हैं अक्टूबर में. और हर स्टूडेंट को एक रजिस्ट्रेशन में 9 अटेम्प्ट्स दिए जाते हैं एक पेपर को क्लियर करने के लिए, एक सब्जेक्ट को क्लियर करने के लिए. और जो फाइनल सर्टिफिकेट मिलते हैं वो फाइनल सर्टिफिकेट में सिर्फ एक सर्टिफिकेट होता है. यू गेट अ कंसोलिडेटेड सर्टिफिकेट in which all of the subjects that you have passed are put together with the final date of clearance. तो अगर आप सोचे कि आप लास्ट ईयर अक्टूबर में आपने से इंग्लिश पास किया है, and let's say this April you passed one more exam, say maths, and then again in October, November, let's say you passed science. When you get your consolidated mark sheet, all of your past subjects will be mentioned as the last pass subject, right? So किसी को ये पता भी नहीं चलता है कि आपने कब एग्जाम दिया है या कितने साल लगा है, कुछ नहीं. It just tells you your consolidated pass certificate. So you get 9 times, 9 attempts to complete it. और NIOS में एक और इंटरेस्टिंग सुविधा जो उन्होंने रखा है, इट्स कॉल्ड एग्जामिनेशन ऑन डिमांड. हर महीने केंद्रीय विद्यालय में दे हैव व्हाट दे कॉल एग्जाम डेट्स, और उनको वो रिलीज करते हैं NIOS वेबसाइट में. द डेट्स ऑफ द एग्जाम्स कीप गेटिंग रिलीज. तो अगर एक स्टूडेंट पूरी तैयारी हो गई है उनकी एंड दे आर प्रिपेयर्ड टू राइट द एग्जाम, दे कैन एक्चुअली बुक एन एग्जामिनेशन स्लॉट any time of the year. So it's called examination on demand. You don't have to wait for April and October. You can actually write your exam on a continuous basis. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to things like choice of language, choice of subjects, number of subjects to clear, and number of attempts you have, and when you write the examination. बहुत सारे subjects हैं. I'll show you a little bit more, but there's a whole variety of subjects that are available in NIOS. NIOS में एक और चीज है जहाँ पे you can enroll in NIOS in different streams. One stream is meant for students who have, for example, attempted their class 10 or attempted their class 12, but have failed in 2 or 3 exams or failed in 1 exam. So what NIOS offers you is something called credit transfer. मतलब कि अगर आप let's say आपने 9-10 subjects SSLC में किया है और आपने let's say 2 subjects you failed, which is for example maths and science, which has the highest failure rate. You don't have to do maths and science again. What you can do is transfer 2 of your best marks. Let's say assume कि Hindi or history or social science के आपके marks is very good. You can transfer 2 of those subjects from SSLC to NIOS and do any 3 other subjects in NIOS and complete it. And you can do it the same year. If you get your results in April, May, and you fail 2 subjects, you can instantly register for NIOS stream 2 or stream B, and you can actually sit for the exam, in a sort of couple of months once you've gone through the material, and get a credit transfer done from the state syllabus or CBSE or ICSE into NIOS. So it's called credit transfer. NIOS की एक और फैसिलिटी जो ऑफर करते हैं उनको पर्सनल कॉन्टैक्ट प्रोग्राम बोलते हैं. PCPs आर ऑफर्ड बाय स्टडी सेंटर्स, उनको ऑथराइज्ड इंस्टीट्यूट्स बोलते हैं. And these study centers, when you register for NIOS on the website, you can automatically enroll also in an accredited institute, an accredited study center, in which you can, if you so want to, attend personal contact programs there. But once you register for NIOS, you will also get your study material by post. You will also get it online, but you also will have it posted to you. NIOS में एक और चीज है जिसको ट्यूटर मार्क्ड असाइनमेंट्स बोलते हैं. ट्यूटर मार्क्ड असाइनमेंट्स ऐसा है कि 20 marks out of the 100 marks for a subject is allocated to home exam जैसे बोलते हैं. So tutor marked assignment 20 mark के होते हैं हर सब्जेक्ट के लिए. तो NIOS के वेबसाइट में TMA का क्वेश्चंस रिलीज होते हैं हर सब्जेक्ट के लिए. आप TMA क्वेश्चन को घर में बैठे या किसी टीचर के साथ या एक ग्रुप के साथ आप डिस्कस करके you can complete that TMA and you submit it to any of those accredited centers that you have, or you can submit it to Kendriya Vidyalayas, and this is worth 20% of your final marks. So अगेन वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल कि आप एग्जाम लिखने से पहले ही आपको 15 या 20 मार्क आप ऑलरेडी आप पा चुके होंगे. सो यू लिटरली हैव टू गेट ओनली 15 मार्क्स इन योर फाइनल एग्जाम टू पास योर क्लास 10 और क्लास 12. और ये जो स्टडी सेंटर्स है, एक्रेडिटेड स्टडी सेंटर्स है, जो सब्जेक्ट्स के प्रैक्टिकल्स हैं वो प्रैक्टिकल्स के लैब के लिए सारे स्टडी सेंटर्स हैव बीन एक्रेडिटेड. तो वहां जाके आप प्रैक्टिकल्स एग्जाम्स कर सकते हैं या लैब अगर करना है तो आप कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज ऑथराइज्ड accredited institutions that are already there on the NIOS website. हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, हर स्टेट में you have these AIs. There is a lot of information on NIOS fees. I'll show this to you a bit later. They are not very expensive, लेकिन मैं this I'll show it to you just as part of the questions because I'm sure it'll come up. और register करने के लिए you can just go into the NIOS website here and you can actually locate any of the study centers here. मैं दोनों I will show both of this in a bit. तो potential बहुत है NIOS के. There are also some challenges, so I just want to talk about these challenges and also in our experience, how is this being handled? तो एक चीज आपको immediately आपको दिखेगा. The NIOS website is not an easy website to navigate. मतलब attempt है लेकिन वो मुश्किल है. तो students को, particularly out of school students को, उसको navigate करने के लिए थोड़ा support चाहिए, थोड़ा enrollment के लिए थोड़ा support चाहिए, and that's where a lot of organizations who are here today can actually help students enroll. When you enroll for the NIOS, you will be asked to select a study center. और यहाँ पे थोड़ा आपको you will see कि थोड़ा problem, there will be some challenges. One, बहुत सारे AIs जो है वो listed है, लेकिन some of them will be marked inactive. जो inactive AIs है उनको register करने में कोई मतलब ही नहीं है because they are not doing any PCPs, they are not doing any TMA, so on and so forth. So finding an accredited institute can be a bit challenging, and you'll have to think कि ये accredited institute के साथ what will the learner get, मतलब उनको इसकी जरूरत क्या होगी. What NIOS is doing is they are separating. Previously उनका एक रूल था कि कौन से, जैसे कि सबर्ब बोलते हैं या लोकेलिटी बोलते हैं या विलेज या ब्लॉक लेवल हो, जो accredited इंस्टीट्यूट उस ब्लॉक के हो, आपको ये इंफॉर्मेशन दिया जाता है कि वहीं पे आपको एनरोल करना है. But because of the challenges with AI right now, NIOS is doing away with that. मतलब कि आप कहीं पे भी आपके रेजिडेंशियल एड्रेस हो सकता है, लेकिन आप कोई भी AI में आप register कर सकते हैं as long as that AI is active. So that's one challenge, and we can see a little bit about how people are handling it. The other is there is corruption in the system. So you will, ये थोड़ा trial and error process है. There are AIs that are corrupt and do charge a lot more money than what they are supposed to. And our experience has been, you must avoid these study centers by all means. Do not get trapped into मतलब वो बोलेंगे कि हम practicals भी कर लेंगे, exams भी कर देंगे आपके बच्चे के लिए. Just don't involve yourself in that. There is corruption and some additional money that they ask. But there are a lot of other very good AIs. Couple of other problems जो है, materials, once you register, time लगते हैं पहुंचने के लिए. We know of students who've been waiting for a very long time. Yes, as soon as you register, जो सारे subject books हैं वो immediately online आपको मिल जाएगा, and you can download it immediately online. So that facility is there. लेकिन जो hard copies है books के, वो पहुंचने में time लगते हैं, और you have to be patient. और दूसरी बात जो है कि on demand examination जो है, ये question papers, they are available only in English and Hindi. मतलब मैं जो बोल रही थी कि हर महीने आप on demand कर सकते हो. The papers are available in English and Hindi, but the student can write it in any language. मतलब उड़िया, बंगाली, किसी language में भी वो reply कर सकते हैं. They can answer the paper, but the question is there only in English and Hindi. So you'll have to look at आपके जो participants है, beneficiaries है, वो how will they are they able to read enough English and Hindi to understand the question? जवाब वो उनके मदर टंग में लिख सकते हैं. There are some myths and confusions about NIOS जो आपको सुनाई देगा when you start talking about NIOS. पहली ये एक myth है कि NIOS is only for slow learners or for people with or for learners with disabilities. Yes, NIOS is very, very useful for slow learners and for learners with disabilities. They provide disability support, etc. And you have a lot of time to complete it. You can do one subject at a time, etc. But this is not true at all, because इनफैक्ट जो बच्चे हैं अर्बन इंडिया में, जो स्पोर्ट्स पीपल है, आर्टिस्ट है, a lot of what we would call upper middle class in India have actually taken open schooling because many of them do homeschooling, unschooling, alternative education में. They know इसकी flexibility कैसी है, so a lot of them have taken this. A lot of students, particularly in pockets of North India, Telangana, etc., वो CBSE से NIOS move किए हैं क्योंकि वो एक साल में NIOS complete करते हैं. After 10th, they take 1 year to complete class 12. And then they spend the next year preparing for professional courses, right? Engineering, medicine, law, whatever. So they use NIOS as a way to sort of accelerate their learning support for professional courses. कई जगह लोग बोलते हैं कि NIOS वैलिड ही नहीं है गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के लिए. बिल्कुल गलत है. The NIOS website has all the court orders indicating its validity. कुछ बच्चे पूछते हैं कि मैं तमिलनाडु में आई एम राइटिंग NIOS, मैं अगर तमिलनाडु से बिहार जा रहा हूँ या बिहार से तमिलनाडु, मेरा ये वैलिड नहीं होगा. दैट्स नॉट ट्रू. इट्स नेशनली वैलिड. और कुछ बच्चे ऐसे भी हैं जिनको बोला जाता है कि आप NIOS, you can only do NIOS if you are enrolled in a study center or if you are enrolled in a school. ऐसे उनको डराते हैं, which is not true at all. NIOS is meant for, is created so that out of school or those not in formal schooling can do it. Of course, there are a lot of schools today that also offer NIOS as a curriculum itself. I mean, sorry, DPS schools, Delhi public schools offer करते हैं. बहुत सारे schools हैं जो NIOS ऑफर भी करते हैं एक्सट्रीम. एक और मिथ है कि NIOS के जो करिकुलम है वो बहुत इजी है, वो बिलो स्टैंडर्ड है. बिल्कुल गलत. NIOS के जो करिकुलम है इज द सेम एज NCERT करिकुलम. कोई स्टैंडर्ड का डिफरेंस नहीं है. इनफैक्ट अ लॉट ऑफ सम पीपल थिंक कि कभी भी एनरोल करके मैं ऐसे एग्जाम पास कर सकता हूँ. दैट इज नॉट ट्रू. विदाउट सपोर्ट NIOS पास परसेंटेज इज वेरी लो. इट्स ओनली अराउंड 35% of people who join NIOS pass because they need learning support. Otherwise, it's very, very challenging. And of course, that NIOS is only for school dropouts, which is not true. Like I said, कि बहुत सारे schools हैं जो NIOS अभी offer करते हैं. How can NIOS work for you? I'll show you a website. You can go and have a look at all of the FAQs around NIOS. हमने सारे जो most important questions है उसको हमने एक जगह बना के रखा है. And this we can discuss later. I mean, once you learn how to enroll students directly on the NIOS website, it's not difficult. You only learn, you need to be patient. We recommend doing bulk enrollment, batch enrollment. So, collecting all of the students' information prior, making sure कि सारे उनके जो self declaration है वगैरह वो available है पहले से ही, makes it very easy. For NGOs who are really interested in supporting secondary level children, I would recommend कि आप एक बार check कीजिए whether you can be recognized, registered as an accredited institute yourself. And if you can, I would really recommend that you look at it because it's a huge advantage for supporting them. अगर आप register नहीं हो सकते हो तो just identify an AI partner whom you can work with in your locality, and mostly this can be for submission of PMAs and practical exam. बाकी आप you don't need AIs for a lot of things क्योंकि most of them don't offer a lot of things, but for TMAs, submission of tutor marked assignment and practical labs, you can go there. अगर AIs खराब लगते हैं तो regional directors are usually quite helpful and they can provide you direct access to KVs, जो accredited केंद्रीय विद्यालय है, accredited institutions है, और आपके जो संस्था है वो KVs के साथ practical exam और TMAs के लिए जा सकते हैं. प्लीज आप पता कीजिए कि आपके जो बेनिफिशियरीज उनके मोस्ट पॉपुलर सब्जेक्ट्स क्या हैं, जो सबसे इजी है उनको कंप्लीट करने के लिए हमारे पास लिस्ट है. वी हैव डन दिस सर्वे मेनी टाइम्स एंड आपको यू विल हैव टू प्रोवाइड सम लर्निंग सपोर्ट टू हेल्प देम कंप्लीट देयर जर्नी. अदरवाइज दिस इज NIOS can be challenging without learning support. So I think I'll stop there. I wanted to show you FAQ and the NIOS web page. Maybe I'll just take 1 second to do this. This is the NIOS web page. You can go here for admission, and you can go here and you can see कि यहाँ पे streams है, or you can see कि यहाँ पे on-demand exam है. And then you have open OBE का registration, right? So ये directly आप website में जाके आप ये you can have a you can look at this. Let me just go back to this. Just give me 1 second. And oh, sorry, I don't think I'm sharing. 1 second. And let me just show you the FAQs, the AIs. 1 second. और जब आप NIOS के enroll करेंगे, you will see that आपको ऐसा मिलेगा as soon as a student enrolls for it. So you can actually select the category. Country to India hai. Of course, it's also offered in other countries. But I'll just show you any place. Select stream. I'm just going straight stream. विशाखापट्टनम. जो जब आप ऐसे करेंगे तो आपको ऐसा लिस्ट मिलेगा. This is your accredited study centers. You can see that active लिखा गया है, inactive you can see both active and inactive and what is available. So there are a lot of centers that will say inactive and a lot of centers that will say active. But going to the regional director can help solve that issue substantially. Yeah. So that's the study center. If you want to look at FAQs, you can just go to chabi.in. यहाँ पे FAQs है. All of the FAQs related to NIOS is here. How do you get, admission? कौन eligible है? क्या documents है? Registration कितना valid है? All of these, you can always have a look at these FAQs anytime you want to. So I'll stop sharing. And oh, I can see there's a lot of questions. Avinash, how should we do this? Should we just...
Sujata ma'am, most of the questions have been answered, but there's one...
Oh, you've answered them. Great. Okay.
Yeah, so there's one question from Nirmal. So they want to know, what does it take for an institution to be given an AI status?
Okay, so I will show this to you, but I can... give me a second. This we have the documentation required for accreditation. We'll send this across to you. This is norms and procedure for accreditation. So usually, so there are 2-3 different categories under which you can apply for accreditation, and it's also, you can also apply for accreditation under what you call special categories, right? So if any of you run a learning center or a school that is affiliated to a state board, CBSE or ICSE, or if you're a registered NGO that's actually working with specially able children, you can apply for accreditation to be an you can apply for accreditation. There's also a couple of other let me just put it, there's also a couple of other options that you have. So you registered society, trust, you have to provide a non-proprietary character of trust of the society, etc. But I will circulate this, and then whoever's registered today will just get to share it. So the norms are very simple. It's not very complicated, but you just have to see whether you fulfill that category. If not, you should have a conversation with the regional directorate and find out whether your institution as a registered trust can also be established as a accredited institution. Nowadays, they have become a little bit more flexible. They are asking for some physical space, right? So a space in which you can set up basic lab, some center where the students can come and there's access to some IT infrastructure. But we are hearing reports from a lot of states that they're not necessarily saying that you have to be a school. They're looking more at sort of registered society trust as one way by which they could support more AIs coming in.
So the next question is by Preeti. So Preeti wants to know.
Yeah, I saw that. Preeti, class 10 is now available in for NIOS Kannada. You can enroll online in Kannada. Bona KHPT girls have all enrolled, I think, no? Already?
Yes, ma'am. They have all enrolled in Kannada.
So, Preeti, the answer to your question is yes. Kannada class 10 is now registered. You can register. You can choose the subjects. I think the online course materials are also available. Class 12 is not there, but class 10 is. And you can definitely start exploring Kannada class 10 for them.
So the next question is from Saif. Yes, I mean, Chabi is for that reason. So you can start preparing for NIOS exams through our Chabi platform. We have both secondary and senior secondary. If you visit our website, you will have a clear idea about the subjects that we have under these both.
Yeah, and the other way, Saif, is if you look at the course materials online, there are some course materials that if you have a large number of students who want to do it, then you can download the course materials, because this is also connected with books are not supplied regularly. So wo aap download kar sakte ho. But I mean, there is support available, right, for NIOS, and it's available in different languages. So, it is there. What is needed is some guidance. Matlab, bacche akele karna mushkil hai, so they will need some support for helping them to do this. There's no NIOS master course available, Ashokji. There's no. You have to sort of prepare. You have to read through the curriculum. You have to look at the course, etc. In Chabi, what we have done is we have just worked with NIOS teachers, NIOS schools, and we've sort of worked to work on the content and the curriculum and so on. And you need that. Matlab, you need that understanding of NIOS content a little bit to be able to support them. But having said that, the NIOS content is quite interesting. Matlab, if you say take a subject like home science, yeah, you take a subject like data entry, it's very practical. Unko bachon ko apne life ke liye kya chahiye? A lot of that is available there. So it's certainly worth sort of looking at. So there's no master course available for NIOS. Preeti, you can access the Kannada course material on the website if you don't message me, and we'll
there's no restriction also, Preeti, for age. So whichever age they are, the Chabi content is framed in such a way that it is easily understandable for any person of any age. So you don't have to worry about the age of your government school children or learners.
Thanks, Bhuvana, but
and overage, again, NIOS itself doesn't have any age restriction. So there's no age restriction for NIOS. To Nirmal, Chabi, yes, of course. How we work with NGOs partners is very different from what homeschoolers and all of that, how they access Chabi. So it's completely subsidized for low income students. So yeah.
Preeti, you were asking something?
Access course material from Chabi website. Preeti, I had already given Soumya some access to some of the Kannada material. So you could certainly check with Soumya. I think her access still works. And you can access all of the course material on the Chabi website.
Okay, thanks, Sujata. Thanks, Bhuvana.
Have we, AI stands for accredited institution. Nirmal, this is a very, very interesting question that you have asked. Is it necessary for a student to be affiliated with the AI, or is it possible for a student to completely study at home and take the exam? Absolutely, yes. And this is a way in which a lot of students that we know, as well as some of the NGOs on the ground, are working. You need accredited institutions for two things. One is to submit TMAs. The other is, if you have practicals, to go and do practicals. There are 2-3 ways in which you can do this. For once a student is enrolled into the NIOS, they can approach the regional directorate and request that they don't have any AI that they want to be affiliated to, and to just allot them a place where they don't want PCP programs. That is, they don't want to go for PCP. They just want a place to submit their TMAs. And usually the regional directorate provides some AI for submission of TMAs only. And that is, it's worked in a number of different places. The other is practical examination can be done in Kendriya Vidyalaya. So again, you have a lot of students who just go to KVs and do their practical examination. The third thing that we have noticed, and we see that it is working, is especially for NGOs, you just find a couple of schools that are registered also as study centers. So they are not standalone accredited institutes. They are schools that are also offering NIOS to their students. And you just request the school to enable your learners to submit TMAs and to do the practical labs. And most schools are okay with it, right? Because for them, the setup is already there. Some schools charge a small amount for TMAs. They don't charge a lot for practicals, but they do charge a small amount for TMAs because, you know, their teachers have to correct the TMAs. But that's another way in which you can do this. So you don't have to be affiliated to, the student does not have to do AI. Many students just forego TMAs. They don't want to do it. They just want to go and write the exam and forget about TMAs. We encouraged, and TMA is not compulsory. So there is no compulsion ki TMA karna hai. But a lot of, we encourage kids to do TMA because wo 20 mark hai. To usko, why do you want to lose it, right? Like 15 mark to mil hi jayega. And you've got that in your kitty, so you feel more confident writing the exam. But otherwise, affiliation to AI is not required. You can affiliate to an AI online, but you don't necessarily have to go to the AI at all to study. Yeah.
Yes, Archana,
Archana,
please ask us.
मैं उत्तराखंड से बोल रही हूँ। एसएनसी हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम है और हम लोग पिछले 10 साल से बच्चों को NIOS से एग्जाम दिलाते हैं। तो हमें कुछ डिफिकल्टी है इसमें। अभी तो अगर आप उस कुछ सॉल्व कर सकते हैं उसको। एक तो हमारे कुछ बच्चे हैं जो MP से बिलोंग करते हैं, लेकिन वो यहाँ उत्तराखंड में हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ही वो पढ़ते हैं। तो हम होम स्कूलिंग टाइप चला रहे हैं यहाँ पे। हेलो,
हम सुन रहे हैं आपके सवाल, बोलिए।
हाँ। तो उन बच्चों का जो सेंटर हम चेंज करना चाह रहे थे उनका। एक्चुअली ये कोविड के टाइम पे हमने उनके जो सेंटर है वो पहले तो एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट है वहाँ पे उमरिया में हमने वो सेंटर उनका डाला और उसके बाद यहाँ पे उनका सेंटर चेंज नहीं हुआ। वो जो स्कूल है वो, जैसे आप स्टडी सेंटर की बात कर रहे हैं, वो स्टडी सेंटर उसने वेबसाइट में तो दिखा है, लेकिन वापस स्टडी सेंटर था नहीं वहाँ पे। वहाँ पे वेबसाइट ने तो एक्सेप्ट किया, लेकिन जब उनका TMA फिट करने गए तो वहाँ पे वो सेंटर था ही नहीं। फिर कोविड का टाइम था तो हम उसके रीजनल ऑफिस भी उसको रीजनल सेंटर पे उसको सबमिट नहीं कर पाए। तो वापस हम जब उत्तराखंड उसको उनका सेंटर चेंज करना चाह रहे थे तो दोनों ही रीजनल सेंटर ने इतना वहाँ सेंटर मॉड्यूल आप चेंज करवाओ, और वहां से भोपाल से बोला कि भोपाल से चेंज करा।
I think Archana
Yeah, we may have lost her.
dropped out. Na? She dropped out, na?
Yeah, seems so.
Yeah.
I think essentially the essence of the question was around changing the centers in the different.
Yeah. Actually, the changing a center is a fairly common issue. It's particularly now because the families are much more mobile, right? यहाँ पे register करते हैं, वहाँ कहीं और जाते हैं, so on and so forth. So there is a process by which you have to change your center. So center change करने के लिए you have to pay 300 rupees और एक DD के साथ आपको regional center में उसको submit करना है, indicating that you want to change the center with just a letter saying कि I have moved from यहाँ to यहाँ, and that's how they actually do it. So the regional director, the center will actually changes the study center. So I hope she comes back and we can tell her. Archana ji, हाँ जी,
तो इसी तरह का प्रॉब्लम। हाँ जी, तो एक्चुअली वहाँ पे दोनों ही जो रीजनल डायरेक्टर हैं वो लोग इस इश्यू को शॉर्ट आउट नहीं कर पाए। तो अभी तो वो वापस एमपी जा करके उन्हें हमें 1 महीने के अंदर ही वापस यहाँ बुलाना, फिर वो एक्चुअली उनके पेरेंट्स भी मूव नहीं कर रहे हैं। वो हमारा एक होम स्कूलिंग हमने यहाँ पे शुरू किया है और उसमें हमारे पास कोई 20 बच्चे हमारे पास हैं। तो वो बच्चे ये लॉकडाउन के अदरवाइज हम यहाँ पे ये अपने सेंटर के आसपास में जो स्टडी सेंटर वहां से ही उनको एग्जाम दिलाते हैं, लेकिन ये लॉकडाउन के कारण एक ऐसा इशू बना था, तो वो एक समझना था उसका अगर कुछ भी हल निकल पाता, क्योंकि अभी उनके अक्टूबर में एग्जाम की डेट निकली, फिर वो कैंसिल हो गया। अभी तो कोई डेट नहीं है, अभी की कोई डेट अभी आई नहीं है।
अभी आ गए अर्चना जी,
उनका स्टडी क्योंकि यहाँ पे होता है,
डेट्स निकल गए मेरे ख्याल से, अभी नवंबर में डेट्स आ गए हैं, तो आप एक बार चेक कर लीजिए, डेट्स आ चुके हैं। मैं एक क्वेश्चन आपसे आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू कि आप कहाँ गए थे उनका वो चेंज करने के लिए? आप रीजनल डायरेक्टर उत्तराखंड गए थे?
उत्तराखंड देहरादून में।
तो रीजनल डायरेक्टर के पास आप डिमांड ड्राफ्ट बना के गए थे क्या आप?
बिल्कुल है जी।
300 रुपीज का डिमांड ड्राफ्ट?
हाँ, और उन्होंने बोला कि ये एमपी से ही हो पाएगा, और एमपी भोपाल वालों ने बोला कि ये उत्तराखंड से ही होगा। फिर लास्ट में भोपाल वालों ने बोला कि अभी का जो आप उनका एग्जाम करा रहे हैं उसको यहीं से कराओ, क्योंकि आपका थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी और उसके बाद चेंज करेंगे।
अच्छा,
लेकिन उसका जो प्रोसेस है उसमें काफी डिफिकल्ट।
हाँ, आई थिंक सम रीजनल डायरेक्टर्स थोड़ा ऐसे करते हैं, लेकिन आप आप स्टडी सेंटर्स टीएमए और प्रैक्टिकल्स के लिए और एग्जाम लिखने के लिए यू हैव सिलेक्टेड? हाँ, ठीक है। सी नेक्स्ट ईयर से आई थिंक दिस प्रॉब्लम विल नॉट बी सो प्रेवलेंट, बिकॉज ये जो एआई और ये जो एसोसिएशन है वो थोड़ा दे आर ट्राइंग टू रिमूव इट। ऑल्सो नोटिफिकेशंस आ रहे हैं कि दे आर ट्राइंग टू मूव इवन द एग्जामिनेशंस ऑनलाइन। तो आई हैव अ फीलिंग पार्ट ऑफ दिस चैलेंज इज ऑल्सो कोविड रिलेटेड, but yeah, some regional directors are very helpful, some are not so helpful. So yeah, इसमें अर्चना जी यही जो आप कर रहे हैं वही कर सकते हैं आप। I think you'll have to go to temporarily Bhopal, or they write it and वहीं पे आप request करके आप उनको उत्तराखंड आप change कर दीजिए आप। I think it has to be one time. hopefully.
थैंक यू। और एक और सजेशन चाहिए। हम अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जो 1st स्टैंडर्ड टू 8th स्टैंडर्ड के बच्चे हैं, उनका हम यहाँ पे सेंटर बनाने का क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा, NIOS का जो सेंटर बनाने का उस
तो मैं ये जो एक्रेडिटेशन और NIOS सेंटर का है, दैट रूल्स मैं फॉरवर्ड कर देती हूँ। आई थिंक दे विल फॉरवर्ड इट टू एवरीबडी। और आप OBE का यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर OBE फर्स्ट अर्चना जी, एंड यू कैन डू OBE अप टू 1, 2, 3, मतलब until class 8 का OBE आप पहले आप ले लीजिए, and then once you do OBE you can also apply for secondary and senior secondary. So उसका एक set of criteria है, norms है, वो I'll send it across. आप देख लीजिए उसको। हाँ, Nirmal का question है, in terms for science, what is your experience in terms of practical facilities and lab exposure for students? Is there good access? Nirmal, depends entirely on, so there are two ways in which people are doing it. One, तो आपका जो accredited study center partner है, अगर आपको अच्छा सा मिल जाए और वो स्टडी सेंटर में अच्छा सा प्रैक्टिकल फैसिलिटीज और लैब है, तो दैट वर्क्स. अदरवाइज अ लॉट ऑफ organizations can set up a very, with the NIOS practical lab में बहुत ज़्यादा equipment नहीं चाहिए. It's fairly simple. You can actually, if you have a learning space, set up your practical lab there, which the students can use constantly, and they can only go to the AI to write or do the practical exam, or go to KV to do the practical exam. So it depends on the study center. Some study centers are very poor, some study centers are very good, and you'll have to see कि एक दो study center के साथ आपको देख के आना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा study center is good. So there's no one answer, but the good ones are good. I mean, they have everything there to support the students. Any other questions? You can ask if you don't want to type up. Yeah. NIO is only for certificate, or actually help the learner? I think it helps the learner completely. I think some of the NIOS curriculum, the subjects are so interesting. It's so practical. It's so connected to life. I mean, like, for example, the data entry operations course is such a practical course. You're learning about Word and Excel and presentation skills, and it's wonderful. Similarly, economics, the business studies course is so interesting. I think it provides a lot of life skills. It's not only for certification. Of course, certification is so important for our learners. It opens up so many barriers for them, but they do a lot of learning. How many subjects are there in elementary section? There's a whole range of subjects, Supriya. Again, there's different sort of there is maths, there is science, there is languages, so on and so forth. And you can compulsory subjects. I'm not sure how many compulsory subjects are there. I think we'll have to look through it once and see.
It's only one language.
Yeah, I think only the language is compulsory. Everything else is
no, Sujata, just one thing, you mentioned that in secondary level there is one compulsory subject in that is language, and along with that 5 other subjects that up to the student's choice. But at elementary level, I mean section, normally in government schools, either state or central, so there are 4 or 5 subjects that a student has to complete in an academic year. So what is the system in national open school?
In open schooling, so wait, let me I will send this to you guys. You can have a look at the the subjects and the scheme of studies, because there's a lot of combinations that you can do. Wait. Let me just 1 second, just point out to you. Here, 1 minute. Let me see if I can share this. Supriya, just give me a second. So if you look at scheme of studies, this is A, B, and C. Remember, A was up to
First and third.
First and third, then fourth and fifth, and then
6 to 8.
6 to 8, right? Thank you. So a learner can take up to a maximum of 7 subjects, including a minimum of 1 language or more. 1 language from group 1, 2 subjects from group 2, plus 1 pre-vocational. So that's 2 plus 3. So that's 4 altogether for A and B, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for a level C, that's 6, 7, and 8, 1 language, 3 subjects from group 2, and 1 pre-vocational. So that makes it 5. So it's 4 and 5, Supriya.
Okay, thank you.
Huh? And you can take a maximum of 7 subjects, which is the same as what you can do for secondary and senior secondary. You can take up to 7 subjects if you want to.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Or subjects ke listing yahan pe hai, huh?
Okay, thank
All
We
of
have a
these.
question from Binu Sharma. So they want to know, do we have particularly prescribed syllabus for NIOS,
Yes.
just like CBSE? So we do inculcate the NCERT, NEP policy also, right, ma'am?
Yeah, so but yeah, so the NIOS is a prescribed syllabus. All of each of the subject has a prescribed syllabus. It's very, very closely attached to NCERT, except I think some of the subjects that they offer, some of the sort of mainstream CBSEs and all still are not offering. But yes, they have a prescribed curriculum, and the curriculum comes out in the form of that textbook that they offer for each of the subjects. So it's exactly like the CBSE, ICSE, or state. Yeah. Preeti, Kannada NIOS has just been offered this year, right? So all of the organizations who are starting with NIOS are just starting now. You will only get a more detailed sense of how they have working with Kannada NIOS only a few months later. So I think until July, August, people could not even register, and the book is just come out. So I don't think you'll have a successful story yet, right? People have just started linking with Kannada NIOS. Any other questions here?
Probably we'll just wait for a minute or so, Sujata.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the questions in the chat to see whether.
In the meantime, so just one quick, and out of curiosity, you mentioned in passing that it is also available in other countries, and I was wondering.
It's like ghar ki murgi dal barabar, no? So when I was in India, we are still struggling with, but NIOS is really popular in Bahrain, in Kuwait, UAE. Now there are kids doing it. Nepal. We actually have NIOS learners in Singapore, in parts of US and Canada. So
right, and I'm presuming most of these are Indian origin families, or
yes. I mean, a lot of course, the Middle East. I mean, the UAE belt is almost entirely Indians.
Right.
There are accredited study centers there, but a lot of them don't associate with any study center, right? They just go directly to the exam center and write the exam and so on and so forth. So yeah.
Right. I mean, it's interesting to note how people in some ways at the extreme ends, right? Some people who are highly socially mobile and have access to multiple things, and then others who don't have anything at all seem to be, I think Nirmal has a new question.
Yeah. Nirmal, it is again a great question, right? And I'm connecting it to what Avinash was saying. I think what a lot of alternative education, proponents of alternative education, including homeschooling, unschooling, slow schooling, a lot of them have been able to do is to present the NIOS as one of the most viable school pathways for career choices, right? Variety of careers. I think NIOS has started to do that. In Chabi, we've sort of tried to do some of this. For instance, we have a whole variety of sports people who've been, other careers and other professions, people who've finished NIOS and gone on to study in other countries, talk about NIOS and the map and the pathways that they have. But it's also very helpful if, when we look at the NIOS curriculum, it's so fascinating and interesting to see how subject choices can be put together for students to understand what they do. So for instance, a student who studies, say, English, psychology, maybe home science, business studies and economics can really look at careers in business, in commerce, in law, a lot of those places, a lot of career options also in terms of skilling, because you get courses like bakery, etc., in baking, etc., in class 10. So you do have options to talk about careers in hospitality, in retail, in entertainment, etc. I think there are two things. One is to challenge the myth, right? A lot of students come. First of all, many people don't know about open schooling even when they are working in education, right? They are unaware of it. I think that's an NIOS real inadequacy of advocacy. They haven't done it. But when they know, they get worried. They think, iske baad kya? To be able to show them the kinds of things that people have done after they complete NIOS is been really useful. People have done IIT, they've gone to engineering colleges, they've gone to law colleges, they've gone to BBA courses, they've done skilling, they've gone into apprenticeship programs, livelihood programs. So part of it is conversation and advocacy. We are also sort of trying to create career awareness sessions, and we do a lot of that, town hall events. We're also trying to create some maps around career choices. But it is, I think there's greater awareness coming up now, and hearing a lot of the student stories have been very motivational. We also have a Facebook page, Chabi Facebook page, in which we have a lot of these career stories that we, with videos, etc., that are put up. It's again in different languages. So, feel free to go there and have a look at some of the videos that we've got there. You can, sort of use it in any way that you like to talk about career options. And it is an important question, Nirmal, because the more students understand kitna success ho sakta hai, the more motivated they are to complete it, right? The more motivated they are to manage it in spite of challenges and difficulties. And it's a very powerful stories of success also in NIOS in terms of career options. So that advocacy is very useful. So when we've got a lot of this on the Facebook page as well, and we're also planning to put out career maps on the Facebook page, so you can go and have a look at that as well. I hope that helped, Nirmal, because this is an important question. And showing where people have gone, na? Matlab ki itne options hai, itne possibilities hai, is very, can be very motivational.
Sujata, this is Namita here.
Yeah.
If I may share, one of our students who just completed his NIOS, he got into the, the business PUC stream. And his sharing, like when I asked him how you able to cope with the work, he said it was is extremely useful because he had covered business studies, accounting, English, of course, math, and excepting for economics, he had done the other subjects. So he says it was pretty easy for me while other students were struggling because they hadn't done these subjects. So for him, he saw a direct correlation with what he had done to what he was doing right now. And he is in St. Joseph's College, which is one of Bangalore's good institutes for commerce. He got into the first merit list. So if you think that NIOS is not considered, or you cannot get into regular schooling, that's not the case.
Thank you, Nomita. It's wonderful. I mean, we've got students who've done architecture, bee farm, who've gone on to do IT, engineering, software, paramedical, physiotherapy, accounting, all of the mainstream careers they've been able to access with it. So, Namita, this is lovely. This is, who is this, Rajesh? No, who is the student, Namita?
No, this is Vikram. Rajesh and Vikas are doing their coding right now, after which they will look at 11th.
Right. Yeah. It's lovely to hear, Namita.
I think, Sujata, just for clarification, what I was trying to get at was, so for instance, I understand for people who have the means and resources, right? They're able to explore all these things. But whereas on the low income segment, right, they always look up to these CBSE schools or state board schools as the go-to place. So I was just wondering, I don't know if there is an answer to this, but basically, how do you connect the dots for them? Because see, it shouldn't become, I think the strength of the NIOS is in a certain sense also it's a sort of a gap in the context of the broader system. Because people feel like you can take anything and everything, so you won't go anywhere, sort of that thing. So how do you combat that perception? Because it shouldn't become like we go to this center, they offer NIOS because I failed everywhere else. By the way, my own niece does NIOS, so I completely understand that it's a good curriculum. So thank you.
Yeah. No, I understand completely what you're saying, Nirmal. And I think it's these are narratives that are not so easy to change so quickly. One pathway that's working a little bit is when we do provide examples of success and possibilities, which are very concrete, for example, like the one that Namita was sharing, with students who see where they can go with it. The other is when parents sort of recognize, or a significant influencer in their life recognize the value of NIOS, and it can also work contrarian, right? A student may be quite interested, but you have a influential person in their family, not necessarily parent, but an elder brother, a chacha, mama, whatever, who says, ye kya kar rahe hain? Like, this is, and sort of, that narrative, they get confused and they get worried and they take off. So it's not an easy, broad narrative to change. I think it will accompany the alternative education narrative in India about the challenges with mainstream education the way it is today. I think the opportunities of linking vocational education with mainstream academic subjects in NIOS is recognized by certain sections of society, not all. So yeah, it's not easy. One thing that might also be, sort of look at is to actually show very, very clear path, right? So you finish 10th, you do these subjects, and then these are your options for 11th and 12th, and then these are your options for post 11th and 12th, which makes it a more concrete thing rather than a philosophical, more abstract thing. But you're right, Nirmal. It is challenging. It's not easy.
Thank you.
Yeah, just keeping an eye out on time. I think we may have time for perhaps one more question.
And again,
if there aren't, sorry, Sujata.
No, sorry, very struck by this, you know, how elite sections of society co-opt flexibility so quickly, so fast. And, you know, the significant percentage who would really benefit from it still work with.
They're not even aware.
And still work with a lot of myths and a lot of stereotypes. We were just talking to somebody who did 10th, did 12th, went to Canada, completed. I mean, this is a completely different story, right? Completed, did a PhD in some pharmaceutical or neurosciences, I can't remember, and then is teaching is joined now as a teacher somewhere. I mean, as a university research assistant, and then she's sharing her NIO story, and I'm thinking, how do I tell this young, confused adolescent, really struggling with poverty and with social issues, to say, take it one step at a time, right? Just complete your 10th, see what access you have, complete your 12th, see what access you have. So it's a very
absolutely. In fact, I mean, just one, I don't know if there's a bit of a digression, but one related question to my mind would be, and there is some mention of it in the new policy as well around the state open schooling and so on. So any initial, because I'm thinking that perhaps when that happens, then the purchase on the ground or the awareness on the ground might increase a little bit.
Yeah, there's, of course, like everything else in education, there's tremendous politics between state and center. And, where you could see in Maharashtra, for instance, the Maharashtra, education minister announced that the Maharashtra open schooling is of such high standard as opposed to NIOS, which is a very poor standard. And then the NIOS, MHRD minister came out and said, what are you talking about? We helped you set up your Maharashtra state open schooling. So what are you talking about? So it's also partly, this tussle. And Karnataka, not just Karnataka, the state open schooling also competes with SSLC. So there's a lot of this, tug of war between, you can't make it 2, don't limit the number of subjects, keep it 9, keep it 10, whatever, right? So it's very political. It's a very political, I mean, education is very political. So we just have to figure out a way to navigate to it, to do what we want to do as much as we can, which is support the 200 million plus young people who are neither in employment, education or training, or the 80% of the population, 90% who don't have that school certificate. So yeah.
Right, and in that sense, the work that you are doing, Sujata, and Chabi is doing, I mean, it's such an important work, generally speaking, in the sort of demographic stage that we are in, and particularly now with the COVID and the impact that has had. I think the relevance of it has become even more, with so many other. So I think with that.
Yeah, and I think once, just to say this, I think we should all really look out for post-COVID out-of-school data. We haven't got it yet. I mean, people like, I know, because I know Nomita and Preeti, I'm using Gubachi as an example, but all of us know that migrant data is so difficult to get. And but reports are quite heartbreaking in terms of the out-of-school population, permanently out-of-school population after COVID. So I think we have to just wait for that data and really see how we can support this particular demographics. They are in desperate need of support, guys. So if we can find ways to, collaborate, and that's one thing I do want to suggest. If there are, 2-3, partner organizations working in a particular state, and, 1 or 2 of them are able to set up as, study centers or just accredited institutions, there can be collaborative partnerships, right? Like Chabi can help you with learning support, with materials. You don't need to worry about any of that, but just need to find mechanisms by which maybe we, can support each
Right.
other in supporting these organizations.
Yeah, in fact, that was the sort of last thing that I was going to come to as well, Sujata, as next steps from this. I mean, this has been extremely informative. So firstly, thank you so much, for taking our time and walking us through this entire thing. But as the next step, would it be okay if some of the partner organizations contact you directly if they have some specific questions? Or the second thing is, as you were suggesting, that if there are a group of organizations that are interested in taking it up at a slightly larger scale, other than the organization level, then we will be more than happy to facilitate that as well and see what role, Wipro Foundation can play on that, with your support. Does that sound all right?
Absolutely, Avinash. Absolutely. That's why we are here. I'll put both my you've got my email ID, but I'm also just putting Bona's email ID. I mean that.
Yes.
Be absolutely, happy. We're also very happy to share some of our experiences, how some of these centers are, sort of, for example, we're going to be working with prisons now. So we're going to be, for example, starting something in the Mysore jail where they're setting up a learning center, and sort of getting a couple of tutors and chabis supporting them in terms of learning resources. So there are really interesting ways in which the support ecosystem can be built without all of us trying to become learning centers, right? Don't need that at all.
Yes.
But do what is best suited for our constituents, right? Which might be individual support or create a learning space for them to come in, etc. So absolutely, Avinash, would be very, very happy to take the conversation forward in any way.
Fantastic. Okay. So with that, I think we'll then wrap up. Again, Sujata, thank you so much. And thank you to all the participants, extremely informative and useful session. And we hope we can continue the conversation with interested groups and organizations going forward. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out.
Thank you all. Thank you, Avinash. Thank you, Supriya. All of you. Thank you so much.